Okay, so today we'll start a new topic, which is another responsibility of a DevOps engineer, continuous integration. Okay, if you remember, and notes, okay, just go back. I was talking about, as a DevOps engineer, we have several set of responsibilities, and it's our job to implement them in a project development lifecycle. And we have seen first two, which are version controlling system administration, build process automation. Okay, and the next thing is CI. So our deployment will see it at the end. Okay, CI nothing but continuous integration, guys. So now, what is continuous integration? I hope you guys remembered my demonstration session. I gave an example of continuous integration as one, as one of the responsibility to which is required in a software development lifecycle to make sure your release process smoother. Okay, there won't be any blockers, and you'll be able to deliver the product on time. Okay, so what exactly continuous integration technically? Okay, so theoretically you are aware of it, which is nothing but integrating your code, okay, in a very frequent intervals to avoid the integration issues at the end of the development phase. Let me repeat the same topic which I explained in the demonstration session. Okay, assume this is what your release timeline, Jan 1st to okay, June. So if that is the case, your development might start in the month of February. Okay, right, and it might end in the month of May or June, April, right? So I explained you on the day, in a typical life cycle phases. Okay, so most of the issues you will be facing in the development phase. So this is what the dev phase. I hope you guys remember what all the phases. Okay, the first one will be this is requirement analysis, and this is design. Okay, and dev, and then we will be having a QA here. Okay, then production. So among all these phases, the dev phase is most important one. In this phase, you shouldn't take any kind of a risk or chance, okay, while delivering your product, and everything should be delivered on time. Okay, so the management or the product owners, they don't listen to your technical issues or technical concerns or technical blockers. Okay, it is your responsibility to sort out all those problems. Okay, and I explained one of the problem in this development phase, which is code integration issue. Okay, so what exactly the code integration issue was? See, typically what happens, a project has been divided into the multiple modules. Okay, like a module 1, module 2, module 3. Okay, module 3, blah blah blah, module 20. Now ultimately a project will be completed only when all these modules are integrated together and build one end product. Okay, so assume that end product will be done at the end of the development phase and give it to the QA for testing. So before the end of the phase, everybody develop their own modules in their own timelines parallel. Okay, and they finish at the end of the day, and last couple of days or 1 week they may allocate to integrated. That was the approach earlier days they used to do it. So at the end of the day, what will happen if you try to integrate all these code bases? There is no guarantee that it will successfully integrate the code without any issues. Okay, there will be n number of issues will arise. Okay, if you try to integrate the completely unknown code bases together, okay, to form a project. Okay, so now this n number of issues, assume some 1,000 issues. Okay, so these 1,000 issues, they have to fix it in like couple of days. They have only 2 days time here to like give it to QA. Okay, in these 2 days time, they need to fix and give it to them. So fixing the 1,000 bugs in a 2 days with all these module tunes is going to be really tough job. They cannot finish it, and they would ask at least for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks time to fix them. Okay, if they ask for 2 to 3 weeks, right, your dev timeline will cross the QA. Okay, and QA will be having very less time to like verify your application. So that will push your QA timeline. Okay, if that pushes your QA timeline, your production timeline will be pushed. So that's how the entire phases will be lagged behind the timelines. Okay, now you are not able to deliver on time, and this will go to in July. Okay, right. So this 1 month period, right, you might be thinking very less period for you, but for client and customer it is really crucial. Okay, so you cannot give an explanation like we had a code integration problem, that's the reason we weren't able to deliver on time, right? So you shouldn't give this kind of concerns to your management or business or customers or clients, whoever it is. Okay, so whatever it is there, technically you have to sort it out internally, and for them you give them a date, that's it. Okay, doesn't matter what you do it. Okay, you sort out or you fix it, you recruit someone. Okay, doesn't matter, you give them a date and try to deliver it. Okay, you might be thinking, let's take a grace period of like 15 days in the beginning itself. Okay, and we plan for 15 days before the integration, and this 15 days we will try to fix all the automation issues, all the integration issues. Okay, think about like 1,000 bucks I said right now. Okay, tomorrow when you plan for 15 days grace period, if this figure becomes 2,000, do you think this 15 days is enough? You need to again prolong another 2 weeks. So you cannot predict the number of issues. Okay, no prediction of integration issues. Okay, right, predict, you cannot predict these issues like how many they gonna arise and all. Okay, it all happens on the day when you integrate. So this is one of the biggest problem in your software development lifecycle. So for this, the industry came up with one one good solution. Okay, so what exactly the solution is? Instead of integrating your code at the end of the development, we are integrating it here, right? Instead of integrating at the end of the development, why don't we spend a little more amount of time, okay, in your day-to-day development life cycle? So what is trying to do it? You try to integrate your code every day, like here, like here, like okay. You put like every day. So what you do it? Assume like in a day one, M1 is started. In day two, M2 is started. So maybe they would have done only 10% of coding, not 100%. Okay. So whatever 10% is ready, try to integrate on day one. Okay. On day three, okay, M3 might be added something. Okay, integrate day three. So when you integrate like whatever is available, right? Okay. So you might keep getting like first day 10%, second day 20% issues. Okay, third day like assume like this is the percentage of issues or 10 issues. Okay, or 20 issues second day. Okay, third day 30 issues. Okay, so ultimately like on your project end day you might be ending up with 1,000 issues. Then you might be thinking, what is the point in integrating the code if you keep on getting issues? So the thing is, not only integrating the code and getting the issues, when you get the issues, right, what are the 10 issues you have it. Okay, so what you're supposed to do it next day, you have to fix those 10 issues plus, okay, and do the further development. You got my point. Okay, so when you do this, right, second day also you'll get 10 issues. Okay, and again next day you fix those 10 issues, okay, and do the development. Okay, then third day also you may end up with a like 10 or one or two digits number of issues. Okay, so what you need to do it every day in your time, in your working day time, right? Okay, in your working day time you spend 1 hour on integration, remaining 7 hours on development. Okay, with this, if you do this kind of a practice, right, what will happen at the end of the day? Okay, on end of the day you'll again end up with the 10 issues only. Okay, which is nothing but end of the project. So to fix this 10 issues, okay, a little few number of issues, okay, you may need like the 1 or 2 days, and that is more than enough to like complete your development phase. What exactly I'm trying to do it, whatever the issues you face at the end of the day, you try to fix them from the day one itself. Don't wait for all the module to be completed. Okay, So this solution we call it as a continuous integration. The name itself says continuously integrate your code base to prevent the issues at the later stages, right? That's what the meaning of the continuous integration. So if you want a proper technical definition in a Google, type uh, continuous integration. Okay, can you see the CI continuous integration is a development practice that requires the developers to, can you see, the developers to integrate code into a shared repository several times in a day. See, it can be several times in a day, or it can be once in a day, whatever. But the thing is, important thing is you have to keep integrate. Okay, each check-in is verified by an automated bill, allowing teams to detect problems early. See, actually, integrating is nothing but not combining the code. Okay, so when I say integrating is nothing but you have to perform certain tasks. Okay, integration nothing but you have to compile the code, you have to test the code, right? You have to perform certain other activities. Okay, this is called integration actually. So what exactly this guy is saying, each check-in nothing but who's our developers commits, like where it can be M1 module, M2 module, M3 module. Okay, everybody should commit into the same repository, and that will undergo through a verification process, which is automation build, allowing the teams to detect problems early. Can you see this? This statement is important. Okay, allowing teams to detect problems early. I hope you understand now what we mean by content. The concept is most important. People will ask you, first of all, do you know what do you mean by continuous integration? Then you go to the tools and all technologies, whatever it is. Okay, understand the concept, then proceed with the technology. Okay, so this is what continuous integration, the concept, introduction, and the definition of it. Okay, now next thing. So now you know what is continuous integration. What is the solution? Okay, so who is going to implement it? Okay, that's where you are coming into the picture. Okay, now when I say 1 hour plus 7 hours, right? See, this 1 hour earlier develop, they are given assignment, they ask one of the developers to take care of the integration. Okay, but instead of a instead of a developer wasting time, every developer wasting 1 hour time, okay, on them, right? Instead of them, they choose one guy. Okay, and that guy is a DevOps guy, or a build engineer, release engineer, whoever it is. Okay, his responsibility is to perform this 1 hour task. Okay, it can be 1 hour, 2 hour, doesn't matter, but this guy's responsibility is to, so DevOps guy is responsible to perform continuous integration in a project. Okay, it's our responsibility to perform a continuous integration in a project. Simply continuous integration is the best practice. Okay, I would say instead of a solution, we call it as a best practice. Okay, so this best practice we need to implement it in our project, so that the developers will be get benefited, your project will be ultimately get benefited, saying you won't be crossing any kind of deadlines, and you won't be seeing any kind of issues later. Everything you are uh, preventing in the beginning. So you might be thinking, if we do the continuous integration, how it will be sorted out? So simple thing, guys, you perform a continuous integration every morning or night or wherever. Okay, once you get the 10 issues, right, you report all the developers. So your job is to simply, okay, integrate, report, right? Assume you're an inspector. Okay, so your job is to what? Just get the candidate into the custody, okay, and report it to the court. That's it. So you're not supposed to take an action. See, action is taken by developers. Okay, so your job is just integrate and report. Okay, action nothing but fixing them. The integration issues, fixing them. Okay, so fixing is taken care by your developers. So now once they fix it, right, you're again next day, what is your job? Again integrate. Okay, again report. If you find anything, guys, report nothing but if you find anything. If you don't find anything, you don't have to report it. Okay, if you find something, then only you have to report it. So this is a routine job. Every day you have to do it. Okay, so think about any routine job. Okay, it's not good a human can do it. Let me clearly tell you one thing. Okay, so if I ask you to a question, please wake me up every day morning 6 o'clock. Okay, if you're staying with me in my home, I'll ask you a thing, please wake me up every day morning 6 o'clock. Okay, so every day morning 6 o'clock you have to wake up, and you need to wake me up. Do you think does it make a sense? I can keep an alarm, right? So where are you dependent on now? Okay, it is a routine task. In order to apply any kind of intellectual to the task, okay, So it's just a simple, like, doing a routine activity every day where you don't apply your brain. It's some task you're doing it. That's it. Okay. Now the continuous integration is also that kind of a process. Okay. You don't need to apply any kind of a brain over here. Okay. It's one time task. It's one time you have to set up everything. So next time out, it's a routine one. So if a human or a human resource is doing it, right, there is no sense of, like, taking advantage of actual intellectual of a human being. Okay. So actually, to perform a continuous integration, we don't depend on humans. Okay, we depend on tools. Okay, there are certain technologies or tools are there. We better depend on them. Okay, they do much efficient than a human. Okay, simple thing, guys. If the 10 members are there, if you ask one guy to, like, wake me up 6:05, 6:10, 5:10 and all. Okay, do you think that that guy like, can do the job perfectly every day? No way. But if you take an alarm, put it for like 10 guys, it works absolutely fine. So that's what the difference between a human being work and as well as a machine work. Okay. Same thing. A continuous integration is a regular routine process, right? Okay. Recurrent process. And if you wanted to perform that absolutely 100% correct, right, you better depend on the tools instead of a resource. Again, depending on a resource is a what do you call, expensive. You got my point. See, you need to record the guy and you need to pay for him. Okay, so these are all the things are there. And if it is a machine or if it is a technology or a tool or software, right, you don't have to do anything. Okay, it does the routine job. So that's where CI tools coming into the picture, which are the continuous integration tools. Now it's our responsibility, a DevOps guy's responsibility is, like, understand this tool. Okay, set up in a project or environment and configure all these projects to perform a continuous integration build, and those jobs should perform automatic integration and reporting. See, whatever the job you are doing it, okay, integrate and report. Okay, so this job, okay, should be done by your CA tools. Okay, so there are n number of CA tools available for like, performing the continuous integration. So I listed down all those tools. Any questions still here, guys? Did you understand what do you mean by continuous integration? Did you get it, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So, see, even when I started my career, they were using a tool called cruise control. It's not that famous tool on those days. Okay, maybe in 2006, 2005, that time. But still, people, there is no tool for continuous integration. So only the cruise control used to be there actually. So it's not such a great UI friendly or tool, but it does your job. Okay, integrating and reporting. That's it. Okay. So then later, this practice, I mean, the continuous integration practice is, like, day by day evolving it. Okay, evolving in the sense, like, day by day it is getting mature enough and performing many tasks, and many companies or many parts are adopting it. Okay, so it started from the cruise control actually. So the first tool, which might be coming in 2002, 3, 4, and I don't know, but I have seen this in 2006 actually. Okay, so then after that there is a tool came Hudson. Okay, in 2008, 9, that point of time. So this Hudson, what exactly this Hudson did it? He is doing the same job of what cruise control is doing. Only thing is, cruise control doesn't have any UI. This guy is providing a nice UI so that, a layman, nothing but a non-techie guy, non-development guy can easily configure the continuous integration builds without having much pain, without having much training. Okay, but to perform the cruise control, you have to read the documentation, you understand XML language and all. You have to write little bit of scripting over here. But when it comes to Hudson, this guy who's are developed Hudson, they made the life of the DevOps guy or a build engineer is easy. Okay, because everything is a graphical interface. From the web UI you can perform the entire task. Okay, the configuration stuff especially. Okay, then later Jenkins, okay, Team City, okay, Bamboo, okay, Build Forge, Continuum, okay, what um, Anthel Pro, uh, blah blah blah. The many are there. I mean, I didn't remember all the tools names. You just Google it, you'll be getting. Okay, just look at this. Continuous integration type tools. Look at the wiki. That would be better. No, why only wiki? Look at this. Did I say, like, Team City? Did I say Jenkins? Did I say Bamboo? What else? Travis CA, those one more there. Go CD is there. Okay, so You can find many actually. There should be a wiki, comparison of continuous integration tools. You can just have a look at the wiki page. There is no harm in finding out what all the tools are there. We may not be learning all of them. See, look at this. This table is having more than 10 tools, guys. Okay, so each and every tool has its own, like, features and all. Can you see platform and who built it and integrating with your IDEs? Okay, and is it licensed or free? You can find somewhere licensed or free. Okay, cross-platform JK Builder. Okay. So among this, I talked about bamboo, continuum, uh, cruise control. Cruise control that they recently they developed one more thing, cruise control.net, which is having a nice UI and all. But by the time the competition is like many guys competed and they came. And Jenkins, Hudson, these both are same tools, guys. Jenkins and Hudson. I'll explain you the story behind it. Okay. So Team City, look at this. So there are many tools are there. So just try to know the tool name at least, because if you go to some interview, right, you learn some tool called Bamboo. Okay, you went to an interview, they asked Team City. Okay, you shouldn't say like, no, I don't know Team City, because if you know one CA tool, okay, think about 80% of other CA tools you are aware of. They are doing nothing. It's a routine task. Only thing is the look and feel is different. Simply thing, guys. I hope you might be used the browsers, right? What is the difference between a Chrome and a Mozilla and Internet Explorer, guys? Okay. See, you does the same job. You open the same URLs. Okay. Only thing is the look and feel is different. The way you operate is different. Same concept applies even for the CA tools. Okay. So don't say like, I know only Internet Explorer, I don't know the Chrome, I never used it. Okay, so be ready for these kind of answers. Okay, so never say I don't know. Tell them like, that even the cruise control or like, Team City is also another continuous integration tool which helps to like, perform the code build and reporting, unit testing, blah 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 blah. See, once you know the one continuous integration tool, learning the other is a self-explanatory. You can learn by yourself. Okay, go to website, download the software and just set it up and try to configure. That's it. Okay, so try to learn one tool perfectly. Okay, then rest of is like, once your career moving on from one company to other company, right, you will be learning different tools. Okay, so but remember one thing, in a company they'll use only one tool, they don't use multiple CA tools. Okay, simply the answer what I gave it in the first session of source code management. Any company makes use of one is repository, whether it is SVN or Git, any one of it. Any company uses either one build tool, Ant or Maven. Okay, same thing like, when it comes to a further development, they do the development either in the Java or .NET, but nobody does the development of a product in two languages. Same thing applies to your continuous integration as well. Okay, so the continuous integration happens only with any one of the tools. It's up to you which tool you choose it, and if somebody already chosen the tool in your ongoing company, you just start to make use of it and just make it, right? So that's the story behind what all the tools available. Okay, where am I? Now, as part of our training, okay, in the market, the most popular tool was Jenkins, guys. Okay, so we will be discussing Jenkins, right? So now, when it comes to Jenkins story, right, actually Jenkins is derived from Hudson. You know, both tools are same, 99% same. Okay, I'll give you the story behind what exactly happened. See, the Hudson is developed by one developer called Koshuke Kawagachi. I don't know whether he's a Chinese or Korean. Okay, look at his profile in wiki or wherever. Okay, Koshike Kawagachi. So he is a open source community developer, guys. Open source community developer, nothing but it's actually open source software. Okay, freely available. Hudson. He developed under an organization called Eclipse. Okay, and this Eclipse is under Sun Microsystems. He is used to be under Sun Microsystem. Okay, anybody know who is Sun Microsystems? Anyone who are into the IT background, you should know this company, Sun Microsystems.
Java.
Yeah, these guys
It's
developed the
Java.
Java. Yes, you are right. So these guys developed the Java. Now, who acquired Sun Microsystems?
Oracle.
Oracle. Yes.
Now it's
Yeah. Now it's Oracle Java. Okay. So Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems. So when Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems, what happens to the Sun Microsystems child companies like Eclipse and all? They comes into Oracle only, right? And this guy works for the Eclipse under Eclipse organization, and he developed the Hudson. So when this guy is not an employer, he's an employee. Okay. So when this guy works for so-and-so organization. You see, he developed some product. That product is not his own. That product comes under the company property. So Oracle got the okay. Now what happened when Oracle got the Hudson, right? The Oracle guys are typically like business minded and they don't want to go for open source. They want to go for the proprietary, and they're trying to make all those whatever they procure companies and software. They're trying to bring it as a what do you call license systems, okay? Business software, so like proprietary systems. So this guy didn't like that. He came out, okay, the Kosuke Kawagachi, and what he did, he copied the entire source code of Hudson and he started the Jenkins, because he cannot make use of the same brand Hudson name. He cannot make use of it, but the same code as it is the CA system, he renamed it with the Jenkins, okay, and started using. Did you get it now, the story? See, Jenkins is absolutely same as Hudson. There is no difference in it. Only thing is the name is different. Okay, the name is different. The CA tool is absolutely same. Okay, if you want, I can just give you some hint about it, like Hudson. You try to type Hudson in Google. Go to the official website of Hudson. This is what the Hudson official website. But actually, come down and see. Can you see Oracle brand here at the bottom? Did you see this? Right? So that's what the Hudson. Earlier it is not used to be like this. Okay, it used to be open source one. Now Jenkins. So this is what the Jenkins.io. Okay, so Jenkins is a purely open source. You can find fork me on GitHub. Can you see this? Fork me on GitHub. Nothing but this. If you have this bar, nothing but it's open source. You can get the source code from the GitHub, because the source code they kept it at the GitHub for freely. Like you can download the source code. You can make it out anything. Okay, but we don't want any source code. Okay, they already built a nice software, so we have to just make use of the Jenkins. Okay, so guys, in your profile, if you're trying to keep Jenkins as your what do you call tool, right? Okay, you can keep Hudson as also CA system, so you can keep both the tools in your profile if you really want. Okay, so there is no harm in it. Both are same. Now, and once this guy moved into the Jenkins, right, most of the DevOps guys, building engineers who use the Hudson, right, they also migrate to the Jenkins. The reason why they migrate to Jenkins is this guy added more plugin support, more plugin support. Okay, so what do you mean by plugin support is simply, guys, I'll give you one good example, then you should be able to understand. There is a product in the market. What do you say? Yeah, your Android, guys. Okay, your Android OS in your smartphones. Okay, Android is getting more popular and popular. Why it is getting more popular? Is it because of the OS? Do you think the Windows OS is not good? Windows OS is also really good actually, the performance wise and all. But why people are getting into Android? The reason it is Android is having a huge app store market. There are lakhs of apps in the app store, and people can get those apps and they can get benefited. But when it comes to the Windows, right, it is having such a nice everything operating system, but there is no developers or nobody is ready to make apps for the Windows. Okay, very rarely happens, right? So same thing happens here. Hudson, you treat it like something like a Windows. There is nobody is doing any kind of a plugin development. So plugin is something like an extra feature on top of your tool. Okay, plugin. So you have a core thing, something you plug and play. So Jenkins is having a more plugin support compared to the Hudson. Okay, so most of the people supporting to the Jenkins actually. A number of developers in the external work, they are developing the more plugins for Jenkins, and they are supporting not only for Jenkins. There are other tools, Bamboo and all, but compared to all those tools, okay, why see, there are many tools are there, right? Every tool is having the plugin support and all, but the thing is, Jenkins is having a huge support. Okay, you don't see the number of plugins for Jenkins, right? Those number of plugins you don't find it for any other tool. Okay, so that's made the people choice of Jenkins. That's the reason most of the people go for the Jenkins. Okay, that's the story behind the Jenkins, and as usual, it is an open source one. Okay, platform independent. Okay, cross platform, and this is a web tool, guys. When I say web tool, this is something like you will be opening in a web browser and all. Okay, so we'll see the installation. Okay, we'll see the architecture as well. Okay, so let's try to download the tool for installation. So Jenkins, recently they upgraded to second version of Jenkins. Can you see second version? It starts on 2 dot blah blah 2 dot version. Okay. Oh, they removed the earlier it is 1.7, 1.9 something will be there, guys. Okay. Seems they removed it. Uh, anyway, okay. So it's cross-platform independent, and you can host it on a Linux or Windows anywhere. Okay. Now I'm going to host this Jenkins in Linux, guys. Okay, because Linux is the best operating system to run any Java application. So Jenkins is a purely Java application. Okay. So try to download this WAR file. Okay. You can download the Linux version also, like Red Hat is there. You can download this also. Can you see this RPM file? Okay. So download this. Okay. Instead of like this, you can do something like, let me open. I think my Linux version seems to be not up. I'm just bringing up my Linux machine because it was down actually. Okay, Vagrant search. Okay, I logged into my Linux machine. So I think you can run this, but anyway, our this is almost going to complete 33 MB downloaded, right? Hey, I think we can make use of the sudo yum install Jenkins. Let's see this. Sudo. Yeah, this we can do it. I think Jenkins is available in the CentOS repositories. Earlier it's not used to be, but I think they did put it into the repositories as well. No, no package is available. Seems it is not there. Okay, so try to run this. Control-C. After that, try to run the. Let's see now. Yeah, yes. These three commands will run it. The Linux it should be able to install. And this war is not required anymore, I think. Anyway, uh, so let it download. Meanwhile, I'll try to explain you the architecture of the Jenkins. Okay, the next one, architecture. Paintbrush. So look at this, guys. So you will be choosing a server, just like for SVN tool, Git tool, right? You will be choosing a server, and this can be Linux or Windows. Right now we're choosing the Linux. Okay. Now what you're supposed to do, you have to run your tool over here. Okay. The Jenkins tool. The Jenkins server. Okay. So this we call as a Jenkins server. Also, if once you set up this server here, right, and this part we call it as a Jenkins master actually. In Jenkins terminology, we call it as the Jenkins master. Okay, right. Now with the master, right, you can configure the jobs and you can run the things. But ultimately, what will happen? Assume this is what your laptop, your PC. Okay, you connect to this machine and you run the jobs in Jenkins. This is how you run it. Okay, so think about you have 10 projects, guys. 10 projects. Each project takes 3 hours to build. Okay, 3 hours to build, right? And you have to perform the builds from midnight 12 to morning 6 only. Okay, 6 a.m. only. So now, guys, can you give me the proper combination? If each project takes 3 hours, okay, 10 projects. How many hours it takes, guys, for 10 projects? 30 hours. Am I right? But how many hours you have it now exactly here? 6 hours. Night 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. So now that you would need 30 hours of Jenkins server time to build all those projects. I mean, perform the continuous integration of all those 10 projects. Okay, but you have only 6 hours, so it is not sufficient enough for the Jenkins server to do it. So that's the reason Jenkins is derived such a way that it can have tomorrow it is 10, today it is 10, tomorrow it's going to be 20, 30. So your Jenkins can extend like anything. How it can extend is I'll show you. You can extend your Jenkins with the help of slaves. Okay, what do you mean by slave is you will choose some other servers. Okay, in your company you can ask your IT infrastructure guy to provide some more servers. Okay, so this can be again Windows or Linux, doesn't matter where you want to build it. This can be Windows or this can be Linux. Okay, or this can be Mac, anything. Let's choose Linux only. Okay. Right, now what you're supposed to do it in these servers, you don't install the Jenkins server component. You will install a small component called Jenkins slave. Okay, Jenkins slave. Jenkins slave. Okay, so you install Jenkins slave. Now what you will do it in your Jenkins server, you configure such a way that the first 3 parts will go here, okay, or 2 parts will go here, right, and second 2 parts will go here, and another 2 parts will go here. Okay, let me choose one more server, guys. Another 2 parts will go here, okay, and another 2 parts will go here. Now why I'm saying 2 guys? Because in 6 hours time, 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. okay, how many parts I can build maximum in one machine? Only 2 parts, because each project is taking what? 3 hours. Okay, so 12 to 3 one project and 3 to 6 one part. So you know what, now within 12 to 6 I'm completing all 10 parts by taking in help of multiple servers and attaching them to my Jenkins server. So your job is to configure all the servers in your Jenkins server, so that your Jenkins server can manage all the servers. It will distribute the work to all the servers. Did you get how the Jenkins works now? This is called client server architecture of the Jenkins. So for the slaves, right, it's n number of slaves you can add it. Okay, there is nothing like 4 slaves or 2 slaves or 1 slave. Without slaves also it works. Suppose you have only 2 parts, you don't need a slaves. You can run them in the server itself. Okay, but if you have more projects, okay, if you want to run more, then you can extend the Jenkins capability to slaves. Guys, did you understand Jenkins architecture? How it works? Did you get it? Okay.
Yeah. About.
Fine. So meanwhile, Jenkins is also installed over here. So once it is installed, let's see the documentation. I mean, this way of installation, I'm doing it first time because earlier I used to do it with WAR file. This seems to be good actually for Linux machines. Okay, once it is installed, what you're supposed to do, that's it. See wiki for more information. Okay. Installation is done. Sudo yum install. Okay, what next? Okay, how to start stop. Okay, now we need to start the Jenkins. How to start the Jenkins? This is all the command. Okay, take this, come back, paste it, starting Jenkins. Great, it started. So once Jenkins is started, simply you access guys with 8080 port 192.8080. Your Jenkins is up and running. That's it. Very simple installation, right? Okay. So if you want, I can note down these commands. So you know, in the notes I can share it with you. This seems to be good, right? This command. There are other two commands. Yeah, these are the commands. Simply 4 commands on your Linux machine will bring up your Jenkins. Okay. The architecture we are seeing now. Right. So once it is started, so now in your machine, not in the Linux machine, in your machine, in your laptop, okay, open browser, HTTP, your IP address of Linux, okay, colon 8080. You will try to open your Jenkins is up and running. That's it. Here's my Jenkins. Okay, now this again seems to be something new process. Okay, so it is asking some admin password. So this admin password clearly says it is available somewhere over here. Okay, copy the path, cat nothing but display. Okay, maybe it is a variable location, right? So you need sudo access. Put sudo. What can you see? This some password here. Copy this. Okay, put over here. That's it. Customize Jenkins. Okay, this seems to be completely new. Earlier Jenkins, we didn't have this kind of experience and all. Install plugin, suggested plugins, select plugins to install. So install suggested plugins is like no the most commonly used plugins. Simply think guys, when you're installing any software, you remember Windows software installing, typical installation, custom installation. What do you mean by custom installation? You select what you want. Okay. Typical nothing but what are the required for you? They are suggesting it. Okay, that's for the suggestion. Let's go for suggested first. Now it is trying to set up your Jenkins with the help of all these plugins. So these are the suggested plugins actually. So it is installing all these plugins in your Jenkins because your Jenkins you are getting only the raw binary. Okay, it doesn't have all the plugins. Now these many number of plugins it is installing at the moment. Okay, so once all these plugins are installed, you will get the home page. Okay, can you see this one by one? All the plugins are getting downloaded and installing it. See such a nice UI actually. It was not like this earlier actually when I was using it. Right now I'm not using Jenkins, but still earlier version was pretty good actually. I mean it's not that better than this, okay? Because that in other version, right, earlier version, I used to install all these plugins manually by going into plugins location, but now it's simply superb actually. See how they improved a lot actually. I don't think Hudson is that improved like Jenkins like this. And you know, until it goes down, I can give a story behind the Jenkins. See, the guy who developed the Jenkins said they started a company called Cloudbees. Okay, this Cloudbees is Jenkins in cloud. You remember Git in cloud with the GitHub, Bitbucket? I told you, right? See, you can get the Git from the your GitHub also. You pay something and get the repository, right? If you want a private one, if you want a public one, you can do it. Similarly, Cloudbees is a company. Okay, they will give you Jenkins in the cloud. You don't need to have any server, Linux server. You need to set up. You can just log in and create a Jenkins instance, and that will give a nice URL like this. Okay, you can start working on it. Okay, the only thing is you just have to pay some money to them, but for making use of the Jenkins software in their cloud. That's it. So this company they started, and for this company the CTO, the Chief Technology Officer is, I'll show you, customers, products, about, team. Yeah, can you see? I told you the guy who developed the Hudson, right? That guy only developed the Jenkins. Okay, he is a Koshike Kawagachi. Now he is the chief technology officer for Cloudbase. This guy developed the entire tool, technical guy. And these are all the CEOs, marketing, blah blah blah, as you know. Right? So come back. This is the story behind the Cloudbase. I mean, they changed a lot actually. Cloudbase is not used to be like this earlier. They changed. Fine. So it's still installing the plugins. You can ask me any questions if you have it. This will take a couple of minutes more.
So
Yeah.
in the Linux we had the SH command. We thought of explaining it later.
Which command?
Once SSH. Just now you have tried me.
Okay. Vagrant SSH, right?
Yeah, yes.
No, not
Thought of
that one. It's
explaining
a
it
SSH
later.
command. Yeah, I need 2 Linux machines to perform that. Okay. So yeah, I'll
Mm.
explain that guys. Don't worry. Okay. Because we will be learning the after the Jenkins session, we will learn the shell scripting part. So that point of time, we will learn. Okay.
Okay.
Almost done. Last part. Yep. So it is asking to set up the admin user account, guys. So I'm setting up admin, 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 admin at the rate gmail.com. Sometime we will send it. Save and finish. Taking time. So might be processing something in the background.
Hello?
Yeah.
In the SVN,
Mm-hmm.
I had a small doubt.
Yes.
Uh, in the SVN, if we had the conflicts, can I clear those local workspace and again can I check out those documents from the
Can you repeat
repository?
it once again? I didn't hear you properly. Can you repeat it? In SVN?
In the SVN,
Okay.
I had a conflict with the local local workspace and the repository one. Conflicts is there in the
Okay.
local and
Okay.
the server.
You can have a conflicts only
Can
in
I
your
clear those?
Yeah, you can have the conflicts only on your local workspace. Okay, you cannot have the conflicts on the server actually. Okay, so you can clear them with the
Fine.
help of a command called svn resolve. Okay,
Okay.
there's a command called svn
Can I
resolve.
delete those files in the local workspace and can I go to get those check out from the repo?
Uh, okay, so you can check out in a new workspace, not in the same workspace. In the same
Fine.
workspace, you have to resolve.
Okay.
Just by deleting it is not possible. Okay, you have to resolve that.
Mm.
Okay, and remember one thing: a conflict resolve and all we don't do it. Developers will do it because their code, right? They know what needs to be there in the code and all. Okay, so we don't do much. Guys, this seems to be something wrong. Admin, 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 okay. Start Jenkins. Cool. So it's up and running. Can you see this? This is what the home dashboard of your Jenkins. Okay. So whatever the architecture I said, now look at my architecture. Where is my paint here? I need to configure the slaves. Now what I will do, I don't have these many servers at the moment. I have one server with me, which is Windows server. You might be thinking, where is my Windows server? I'll treat my laptop as my slave, guys. See, this is Linux, right? I'll treat my laptop as slave and I'll try to configure one slave at least. Okay. So how to configure a slave? Please go through it. And guys, there is no documentation available for Jenkins. Everything is a browser UI. Just watch it. That's it. Go to manage Jenkins. You can find manage nodes here. Can you see manage nodes? Click on it. Okay. You have default, you will have one machine called master, which is the server itself. Okay. This one. Right. Now your job is to new node. Create a new node. Okay. Call it as a win agent. Okay. Windows server. Okay. Something like that. Say okay. Now, remote directory. In this laptop, Windows agent, where do you want to check out the code and all? See, ultimately, why we are doing this? To build the code. To build the code, you have to check out, right? So, to check out that, you need to give a location to your server, okay? So, let me give a location into my server, Jenkins, create a folder, win agent, okay? Now, copy this path and try to provide that path over here. That's it, okay? Now, try to execute this with as a Windows service, guys. Okay. So if you want to execute as a Windows service, right, you have to provide admin user password, blah blah, all of them. Okay. Instead of that, I'll give you an easier one. This. Oh, there used to be one more. They deleted it. There's a JNLMP client used to be there, guys. I don't know why they deleted. Four options used to be there. SSH is for Linux. So if it is a Linux machine, it's a straightforward. Launch agent via execution of a command on master. Okay. This seems to be something new. Let's try this. This we can try it out. Okay. So copy the slave.jar. Okay. Stay. Click on this. It will download a jar. Yep. Keep. So it downloaded a jar called slave.jar. Now what you're supposed to do it? Okay. Hash exclamation is a Linux one actually. In simple case, this would something like SSH hostname. Okay. No, it's not possible, guys. SSH you cannot do it with the Windows machine. That's not going to work out. So okay, let's go for the last option, which is a uh, run it as a Windows server. Okay. So my administrator username is my username is chiranjeevi.patel. What is host? My development. I think it's not required if you run with the system user. Okay, just leave it. Use the system user and see. Save. Launch agent. No, no, no. Go to configure again. Okay, this launch method relies on decomp and is often associated with subtle problems, considering using launch slave agents using the. Okay, this guy clearly saying launch slave using the Java web start, but where is it? The option itself is not there here. Did you see this? This option I'm looking for, launch a slave using Java web start, but in this I don't have a Java web start. What do we do? These guys. Let's try this. Okay. What is the IP address? Is Windows firewall is blocking your port, so my Linux is unable to connect to this on port number 135. Let me unblock my firewall. Windows firewall. They're off anyway. It's not connecting, guys. Port 135 is trying to connect. Okay, I'll do one thing, guys. For Windows, you keep it aside because it clearly says use the Java web start, but that option is not available here. You what you do, guys? You do it. You try to download the little older version, not the latest. Okay. Now I can show you an example of Linux slave. Okay. The Linux one is pretty easy, but what I will do it. I don't have any other Linux machine, but still I'll use the same server as slave as well. That can be possible. You can do that. Okay. So 192.168.33.10 and credentials. What is the username password? Okay. So will be Vagrant and Vagrant. Okay. Choose the Vagrant. That's it. Okay. When it is a Linux, it shouldn't be this kind of a path. It should be home Vagrant. Okay. And you say JC Jenkins client, something like, it will create JC folder over there in that machine. Okay. Now launch it. Before launching, say it as a Linux machine. Okay, yeah, this is launching absolutely fine because it's a Linux, right? It can do the SSH connection easily. So it started the an error expecting unexpected error in launching slave. This is probably a bug in Jenkins. Already connected. Yeah, fine. It is connected, guys. Can you see this? Linux agent. It's connected, but and you can find operating system details. Which operating system? Master and slave both are same. That's the reason you see the same data because I launched the slave in the same server. Okay. If you launch it in a different server, you can see other Linux machine details here. So this is how you launch it. I don't have a servers to launch right now. But in case if you have servers, the procedure is same, guys. Okay. Did you understand how I launched this slave? One slave. Okay. Similarly, you can create multiple n number of slaves. Did you get it? Shashi, Mahendra, Gautam.
Yes, yes.
So I'll look into this, guys, why Windows adoption is not showing. Even you can also Google it, okay, why it is not available. So there might be some bug and all version. We can download the little bit earlier one and we can see, okay. So meanwhile, I can show you with the this one next one. So I'll stop it for today. So we'll catch up tomorrow and continue with actual Jenkins job creation stuff and all, okay. So keep ready your machines with Jenkins installation and master and slave, okay. Tomorrow we'll see the job configuration, right? Fine, guys. See you all. We'll catch up tomorrow in our regular time. Okay.
Can you please upload those videos,
Yeah, you are right.
classes?
Yeah, I forgot last two classes. I'll do it right away.
Okay.
Okay. See you all.
Okay.